Wow, I can't believe it. 4,000 subscribers for the ChessGoals YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching. What I want to know in the comments, what type of videos would you like to see going forward? The main message for ChessGoals is to try to keep chess fun and efficient and to help you guys improve as chess students. So drop in the comments what you'd like to see, and we will try to add that content to the YouTube channel. All right, now I'm going to walk you through a game that I just played over the board game. I have the white pieces 60 plus 30. This is round 2 of the February Swiss tournament that I'm currently playing in. I start with one knight to f3. And I think one of the big takeaways from this game is be flexible with your openings. So you can have a nice repertoire, but sometimes you want to mix it up a little bit. And the reason I played knight to f3 here is because I know against e4, my opponent Paul plays French defense, and I know against d4 he likes to play the Slav defense. So I thought, okay, I know what black plays, let's just mix it up a little bit, and I threw in one knight f3. And he had a bit of a think here, he plays knight to c6. So now what I tried to think is there a way I can take advantage of knight to c6 on move 1? And I think taking it into a queen pawn opening is the best way to do this. So I play d4. Paul plays d5. And now we're getting what's called a Chigorin opening after I play c4. So usually you'll see this with the move order d4, d5, c4, knight c6. We switched it up a little bit, but this is technically like Chigorin territory. And here he plays d takes c4. Now at this point I played e4. And the reason I played e4 is I want to have this big center, and I was hoping for a tactical game. I didn't want to go into something real dry. The pawn's locked up for a long time, so I just played e4 right away, grabbed all that space, and my plan is to recapture this pawn later. So black plays bishop to g4, pinning the knight, and there's already a double attack on the d pawn. I do like how Paul played very aggressively in this game. I think it increased the chances that both sides made a mistake. So he did bishop g4, I play bishop to e3, defending this pawn. If bishop takes f3 here, my plan is to take back with the g pawn. Accept the doubled pawns, but now I have the bishop pair, and I'm still planning on capturing this back in the next move. So I'm fine with the doubled pawns. He plays pawn to e5, another aggressive move, and I really only have one good reply. If I take this pawn, queen takes queen, and if I play bishop takes this pawn, he can take on d4. Both of those are looking better for black already, so I'm essentially forced to play pawn to d5. And now the critical move for black is knight to d4. That's the strongest move. And my plan was to play bishop takes d4, and after bishop takes f3, g takes, e takes d, queen takes d4. I liked the resulting position. I felt that I had a comfortable edge here, but that would have been around 0.6 according to the computer, so that was the best play for black, knight to d4. Instead, he played bishop to b4 check first, and I blocked with the knight. Everything still looks solid here. I'm threatening to take. Now knight to d4 played, and I take with the bishop. So I was feeling pretty comfortable with this position because after e takes d4, I can take back with the queen, hitting g7, hitting this pawn. Bishop takes f3, I can always take back with the g pawn. Nice comfortable advantage. Okay, so bishop takes f4. He takes on f3 first, attacking the queen. But here I have this tricky move. Instead of taking this bishop right away with g takes f or queen takes f, queen takes f3 is actually a bad move after pawn takes bishop. My knight is pinned. And Paul might have been looking at that during the game. Instead, I looked for something more creative and I found queen to a4 check. These are the types of moves you want to look for in your games, especially the tactical positions. Don't always play the expected moves. Look for these unexpected moves that can create some complications for the opponent. In this case, this happened to be the best move on the board. So the idea here is I'm checking the king and I'm attacking this bishop. So I might not take the bishop on f3. If I take the one on b4, this bishop here on f3 cannot capture either of those pawns. So it's probably going to be advantageous for me to aim for that bishop. c6 played. Now again, the expected move I think is probably bishop takes e5, or maybe queen takes this bishop, or even pawn takes this bishop. But instead, I calculated that d takes c6 was the strongest move, and the idea here with d takes c6 is my queen is lined up with the black king, and now there's a strong threat of the c pawn capturing on b7 with check and then winning the rook next. So black has to immediately react to that. He inserts the check. Bishop takes c3 check. And I think at this point, there really wasn't much black could do. The position is already winning for white. But he played bishop takes c3. I took back with bishop. Pawn to b5. That's the strongest move, and it is tricky. I have to calculate what happens if I take. Is the rook going to be able to harass my queen? But I went for it. So now there's this threat. I'm also eyeing this pawn and eyeing the bishop. And if you look at the material count, I'm up 1 pawn currently. So I have an extra b pawn, 2 minors each. Queen to c7. And now I take this bishop. And at this point, I'm up 4 points of material, up a bishop and a pawn. And I went on to convert this game. I don't think we need to go through all that. But the main takeaway is kind of keeping this flexibility. I based my whole opening and my whole strategy on what my opponent was doing. And none of these moves were memorized. I didn't have any of this theory down, but I was able to find these moves over the board just kind of looking at tactics. So that's why it's important to not always just memorize your openings, because sometimes your opponent does something unexpected, like I saw move number 1, knight c6. You have to fall back on your principles, your strategic ideas, and your tactical strength. All right, so make sure, let us know in the comments, what do you want to see in future videos? Thank you for being a part of the 4,000 subscribers if you're a subscriber, and I will see you in the next video.